Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Since the implementation of the chip rules, the Chinese market has been gradually isolated, and countries and regions deep in the supply chain have also been forced to participate in the camp closer to the United States, the so-called Chip Four-Party Alliance, US-Japan-Netherlands Alliance, and so on. It is the product of the deformity of this period. The purpose of this series of measures is to hinder the formation of China's independent semiconductor system. Chips are highly dependent on the globalization industry. Naturally, cutting off the supply chain is the most effective restriction method. However, China, as the world's largest consumer market, has long been it is doomed to a lose-lose ending. Controlling a large number of core technologies in the core-making process has kept American Semiconductor at the top of the supply chain, but it has made the most wrong decision to divert the asset-heavy manufacturing industry and let Asian countries and regions undertake the dirty work. The cutting-edge manufacturing technology is far away from Europe and the United States. After a long period of infiltration of independent technology, the United States has gradually lost its actual control. After the rise of China's semiconductor industry, the United States realized the seriousness of the problem. As a result, the United States comprehensively promoted the chip rules, and through various coercion and lures, forced Asian manufacturers such as TSMC and Samsung to go to the United States to build factories, under the guise of reshaping the local industrial chain to obtain advanced technologies, so as to support the development of local enterprises. And European manufacturers are also miserable. Once advanced technology appears, they will be suppressed by the United States. Alstom in France is an example. It will start to accept the entry of Chinese capital in the follow-up, but unfortunately this record is fixed at $89 billion. What exactly is this matter about? Germany releases important data. As the saying goes, the enemy of the enemy is a friend. Driven by the global semiconductor landscape, the cooperation between Chinese companies and European companies has become more frequent. The key to whether they can overcome the chip rules lies in whose technical strength is more strong. European manufacturers are close to American companies on the surface, but in fact the two sides have long been divorced and are maintaining a false unity. Just recently, the German media released an important data. Since the start of the relevant restrictions, the investment of Chinese capital in Europe has declined sharply. 139 deals, and only 26 deals in Germany, involving only $290 million. By analyzing this set of data, we can find enough problems. The reason for the reduction in investment is inseparable from the forced intervention of the United States. Having reached a 100% equity acquisition, the UK could only conduct a re-examination under pressure, and the final result was to be forced to divest 86% of the shares. There are not a few similar examples, and they have greatly damaged the revenue environment in the European market. Chinese capital no longer dares to sell easily. If the relevant restrictions are not lifted, the total investment record of Chinese capital entering the European market will also be fixed at $890 billion, which is definitely not good news for the European technology industry. There are many industrial powers in Europe, and they are also the existence that the United States is afraid of. Therefore, they have always maintained absolute suppression, especially in the semiconductor field, which has been restricted and airtight. Only ASML, ARM, etc. supported by American capital. When companies take the lead, the chip technology that can actually be mass-produced independently may be worse than that in China. In order to solve such disadvantages and increase the share of the semiconductor market, all hope can only be pinned on Chinese companies. Only in this way can mutual industrial integration be achieved, so as to have the strength to compete with American semiconductors and effectively eliminate the United States. Arrogant attitude. The Netherlands and the United Kingdom refused to compromise this time, allowing companies such as ASML and ARM to muddy the water. Naturally, there is a certain selfishness. Under the influence of chip regulations, both Korean companies and American companies are experiencing in the cold winter of the semiconductor field. Only Chinese companies are advancing all the way, and the variables expected by European countries have already appeared. ASML's largest factory is in the United States. ARM is always facing the dilemma of being merged and acquired by American capital, TSMC. Samsung went to the United States to build factories, etc. All of this must have been planned in advance. The United States wants to reshape the local manufacturing industry. It is necessary to start with these top-notch companies. And European countries are called allies, which is an unrealistic title at all. The rapid relocation of production capacity has exposed the ambition of the United States. Monopolized. In the face of more stringent suppression, it will be difficult to get ahead, and the development of China's semiconductor industry has caused cracks in the monopoly position of US companies. If European companies can cooperate, there will be great. It is hoped that the debeutification technology system will be built. The chip itself is an industry that is highly dependent on globalization. Only by returning it to its proper development track can it usher in a more comprehensive development. Now Chinese companies dare not invest in Europe. If this problem is not solved, Europe will continue to suffer. What do you guys think of this under the darkness?